I went from the ghettos of Mexico to moving into a house with two 26-year-olds making between 3 to 500K a month.
He is an email marketing expert.
He went from zero to millions of dollars in leads.
Christian Davis.
I knew I needed a mentor in order to get where I wanted to be. So I found a mentor, and his name was Troy Erickson.
How were you able to overcome all of those anxiety?
I took a year-long class with daily homework, and the point of the class was to remove trauma from my past.
What was the biggest misconception that got broken when you got into copywriting?
It's just the intent of the person entering. They're not doing this because they love this. They're doing it because they want to escape pain or something. If you want to be truly successful, you have to adore what you do.
You became the #1 affiliate of Alex Hormozi's contest. What was your game plan or thought behind that?
So I was able to take what was working for a few people that were doing it and then deepen it by finding extra strategies from Facebook, which was informational content in the morning, and then at night it was motivational stuff.
So please welcome Christian Davis. Hey, Christian.
Hey, thank you so much for having me, man. Really appreciate it. It's an honor.
Truly appreciate it, man. So, can you walk us through a little bit how everything started from you, how you stumbled, as you mentioned, from ghetto of Mexico to finding out probably copywriting as a high income scale, how that journey started for you actually?
Man, so I tried so many things along the years. Definitely had shiny object syndrome while I had this job scraping rotten chick grease at Costco. Was absolutely miserable in there. And so I knew there was something better for me in store. So I tried high ticket drop shipping. I tried Amazon FBA, and then eventually landed on Kindle publishing, and went tens of thousands of dollars into debt to discover these skills, and had lots of failures, but learned a lot along the way. Didn't realize that till later that it was actually valuable.
Yeah.
And then, so I was one of the first 200 students for publishing.com. And I'm their fourth testimonial in their webinar and their book. And so one of their best success stories, at least first ones. And so I started publishing books, and that got me out of my job, but I still was living on very, very little money. It just covered my rent barely in Mexico, just $200.
Got it.
I met a mentor. Yeah, because I knew I needed a mentor, right, in order to get to the next level where I wanted to be. But to any entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs listening to this, and if you're trying to go from zero to millionaire, it's 100% possible within a year. But for me, it was a lot more realistic to learn a high income skill and get paid to learn how to become a millionaire along the way. So I found a mentor, and I moved to a cartel infested ghetto in Mexico to work for him for free. My first copy job was making $2.90 an hour, and my rent was $200. I was eating white rice and avocados. I was washing my clothes in a rusty sink just to save a couple dollars, completely living in scarcity. And there was a moment where someone broke into my courtyard at around 3 a.m. and I didn't know if they were going to hurt me because I was hearing gunshots. So I just slammed my body against the door, and I just remember thinking I have to figure this out. What am I doing?
Yeah.
But the beautiful thing about this though is when your back is literally against a wall, you have to take action to make it happen. So taking action was never a problem for me, but it was taking focused action and actually doing the stuff that were the biggest needle movers in my business, and not shiny object syndrome. So yeah, basically I met a guy in a meditation circle that introduced me to copywriting. He said, you can make way more doing the writing you're doing for clients and email list management. So he just said, just buy this course. I got it. The salesperson didn't even have to say anything. I was just just take my credit card. So I just freaking maxed it out, $5K for that. And then took the course, worked all day, every day in the co-working space. And then I saw an event by the highest paid copywriter in the world, Stefan Georgi. And all I had to do was put the event on a credit card, and I saw that there was clients out there that could pay me. So now I put another 4K on a credit card. I fly out there, and I approached someone on Facebook that I saw was hiring, and I dap them up and I say, hey, my name is Christian. I want to make you rich. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make it happen. And he said, okay, great. Well, I have an assistant position. You can move out to Florida for. and you can like take out my trash and stuff. And so again, I decided to move. I leveled up out of that mentor, moved to this one, and his name was Troy Erickson. And man,
Got
he
it.
completely transformed my life.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, I went from the ghettos of Mexico now, making so little, to moving into a house with two 26-year-olds making between 3 to 500K a month.
Yeah.
And my
Wow.
world was flipped upside down. I was like, anything's possible, RJ. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yep. 100%, man. Love it. Love it. Yeah. Like we got the chance to have like Troy on the podcast, I think a couple episodes ago. It was definitely like even an interesting conversation, like how his journey started. But yeah, like that's so true. Sometimes when your back is against the wall, even if you're taking action, but now you're thinking so much like, hey, I have to figure out other options. Like they have to have a way just in order to, make these things work out. This is not an option for me. So like I would love to ask from you is because uh the people who have this failure to success sort of story, most people don't realize it is kind of like when somebody is like sharing it, kind of like condensed, but when they were actually into the real stuff, while they're experiencing it, there's a lot of pain, there's a lot of things going on, a lot of thoughts going into the mind. So like how you were able to sort of, even though you were completely committed, like how were you able to kind of like overcome all of those beliefs, anxiety, I would say, and like be like, hey, no matter what happens, I have to figure this out.
Man, that's my favorite question so far that I've been asked on these podcasts, because that's like the number one question that a lot of aspiring entrepreneurs want to hear. So good on you. I tried everything under the sun, just like a lot of like really dedicated aspiring entrepreneurs, like tried affirmations and stuff, all that fake it till you make it stuff. I have a money magnet meditation that really ended up starting to switch things for me and reprogram my mind. And I tried a lot in the past, but this one hit a lot heavier. It was from that meditation group I joined in Oregon. So I just listened to this and really just focused and felt it and just visualized myself in a nice apartment like this. Like, even though I was in like a ghetto with like bars over the windows and doors, like
Yeah.
I envisioned a nice view, top floor apartment where I am now, and just truly felt that. And then when I moved out to work with Troy, that's when I discovered this meditation school called the Modern Mystery School. And then there, I took a year-long class with daily homework. Now, despite me having to work every single day, like all I did was just write emails and manage lists and just cut my chops for Troy, I still put this other class on a credit card. And I'm like, I'm not advising people to do that. I'm just sharing my story.
Yes.
I did the daily homework. I did the retreats. I made all this stuff happen. And the point of the class was to remove trauma from my past that was making me afraid of success and sabotaging me in every step. I used to think that was like BS, like self-sabotage. Yeah, right. Like I'm not doing that. But if I got onto a sales call and I was a little bit nervous, like that's 100% BS in your past.
Yeah.
And when that stuff gets cleared away, you're 100% a new person. You can strive forward. You can do anything you
True.
want. So that's when my life was flipped upside down.
Yeah, love it. I mean, like it's just like a snake, where it kind of like removing its skin, and then it's completely new skin as well, and you're like completely sort of like shifted slowly and gradually. And yeah, like that's so true. I mean, like some people don't realize the power of when you see it, like really, like for example in your case, like Troy, when you saw him, and like you being in other masterminds, you started to realize, man, these are like real life example in front of you. Like they have actually figured it out, which sort of like change all of these belief in a completely different perspective. Most people don't realize that something like that is even possible, apart from just like watching these YouTube videos and be like, hey, good for you, you can do it. It's not for us. So yeah, it's pretty interesting that you shared this.
Yeah, I would say it's a little bit less important the medium you choose, and more important that you choose something that has actionable steps that you have to take like on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
Another program I recommend for anybody out there that feels like they're just failing at everything they do, no matter what, they can't succeed. I recommend Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Joe Dispenza. And don't just read the book, like treat it like a program, like buy the meditations as well, get on audio, get it in paperback, and do the action steps in there, and
Yeah.
it'll reprogram your mind to
Yes.
not react and be afraid.
100%, 100%. I mean, like, otherwise it's just like you're buying so many these books, content, stuff like there. But if you're not doing actual implementation, or if it's not sort of like, affecting in any shape or way, it's of no use, right? Yeah, I remember like I wasn't like so fond of like reading books, stuff like that, probably like 4 years ago. And all of a sudden, I saw this line. It was in a book, like nobody's gonna buy from you until they know you, like you, and trust you. It was actually .com Secrets by Russell Brunson. And then
Solid one.
I was like, now I have to get this book because I wasn't obsessed of books at all. Then I bought it, I read it. I'm like, now I have to do something with it, right? So it's just like you have to have that sort of drive in order to make these things work out. So my next question to you with that aspect is what, and that's question something I asked like from Troy, and also like I got Alex Elliott. He was actually my very first guest on my video live 4 years ago. So I got her back in last episode. When you got into this world of email marketing or copywriting, I would say, what was the biggest misconception that got broken while you got into it? What you thought about email marketing or copywriting in general it would be, and then you were like, man, it's something different.
I love these questions so much. They're so good. So the first one is, when I found this program, the entire unique mechanism of the program was from 0 to 90 days, you can make 5K working 1 hour a day. Now, technically, that's correct because I can swing that now. I choose not to because for obvious reasons. But luckily, I didn't get to the program for that reason. I just wanted to learn from someone I thought was really good at the time. But everyone in the group was struggling and failing, and still are. Like not everybody. A lot of people are. Some people are doing okay, but compared to other programs I've seen, it's like, and it's not even the offer. It's just the intent of the person entering. They already want to work as little as possible. They're not doing this because they love this. They're doing it because they want to escape pain or something, which is an okay reason to get started. But if you want to be truly successful at something, you have to adore what you do. And I absolutely adore making people rich through email marketing and helping copywriters go from 0 to 10K a month, and just lights me up inside. So don't give into that guru hype of like going from nothing to 5K a month, working 1 hour a day, 90 days, because that's just not the case.
Yeah. I mean, like, over expectations in their mind, they're like, fix me, senpai. Like, fix me. I'm just into the program. Even if they're not even interested, even if they don't have the idea what's going on, just because they think like, it was already possible for them. They don't even have an idea what's going on in there. They're like, I don't care. Just fix me, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And that's the thing with these programs is the program has everything you need in it to succeed, but the problem is a lot of these people come in with all this baggage. They're like running a race, like carrying a wagon full of bricks.
Yeah.
Like, that's why with my program, I actually help you unravel your mental BS and give you a strict action plan that you take, so that you don't have to go into like sales calls like feeling nervous in the get-go, or like questioning if you're going to be able to do something, like, because that's just how you set yourself up to fail.
Yeah. Love it. So my next thought would be like, what's the actual difference between somebody who is charging mediocrity for the exact same service versus somebody who's charging a premium, and especially in terms of the copywriting, email list management stuff? What is the actual difference between like those? Maybe like somebody who's charging like $500 a month, but on the other side, somebody charging like 5 figures. So like, what you see is the actual difference between them.
So the highest retainers most freelancers are getting are 5 to 7K. There are some larger agencies that are doing like 10K or more, but the biggest difference between that and a copywriter that makes 1 to 2K is, besides the obvious stuff, like you have copywriters that just write in a Google Doc and ship the document to the client. Then a tech person uploads it into the email service provider. Now, if we say that you're doing everything, like you're doing the email service provider thing and writing the email, and you're still charging only a couple K, The biggest difference is a couple things. Like one, they don't have confidence, or two, they don't have experience. And the biggest difference between like me and beginners is that I make my clients like 2 to 3 million a month, and so I see like hundreds of thousands of people running through my emails, and
Yeah.
millions of dollars running through them. And so I can tweak and see everything that's working and improve it from there. And so that's why people get into email copywriting in the first place, is because they want to see their data so they can improve. Because you need someone reviewing your copy, and you need to see the data behind everything you do so that you can get better. And so that's all it is. Like people that have bigger, larger sets of data and that actually consume it and have critical thinking. Because a lot of people are still lacking critical thinking. So it is an acquired skill, believe it or not.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like it's really right to the point, because like a couple of days ago, like somebody actually reached out to me like, hey, I'm a copywriter. I'm making like, $500 a month. I'm like, there's a lot of things that's going wrong from your side. You have to see like other people. And I was mentioning like, other copywriters that I got on the podcast. I was like, watch all of these. They're making a lot of money, but there are a lot of different factors you have to go in and like, sort of like learn in order to get to the certain point. One is definitely confidence. You're not confident enough to charge that much, or even like say that without like changing even like any of your facial expression. It's like a lot of things going on wrong. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
really true.
You can't even have an inkling of doubt. Like the
Yeah.
thing is, you have to be 100% confident in your ability to figure things out. And
Yeah, exactly.
I help people teach them that skill, and also figuring out a lot of like more tech problems and stuff like that is just an order of operations. And so if you haven't followed a certain format, then you can easily figure out anything, even if you've never done it before. And so that
Yeah.
squashes the excuse of like, oh, I haven't done this before. Like, can you do it? Like, nah.
Yeah, correct. Absolutely. So okay, so August 19th, I think that was the day of the book launch, if I'm not wrong, of $100 million leads. So I think it was like I think probably a month, where like Alex Hormozi actually gave this like, hey, we're doing this contest, like whoever generates the most amount of leads or the registration for the event in the top 10 on the leaderboard, we're gonna get the chance for getting a private call with him, and like ask whatever you want to ask, stuff like that. Obviously it's kind of like demonstrating the leads from even through the affiliates as well, generating leads. And you went in and you became the #1 affiliate of Alex Ramose's contest. I think, if I'm not wrong, anywhere between $9,000 to $12,000 leads generated for his event, which was again amazing. What was the things that are actually first of all going in your mind, like, okay, like what was your game plan or thought was like, hey, I'm gonna participate into it, this is my strategy gonna look like, and then I'm gonna go in and start doing it? Because Alex was also kind of like back and forth with you guys on Slack, stuff like that. I think some of these platforms telling you guys like, hey, what you're doing are amazing. So like, what was the whole backstory behind that?
Okay, so this is what happened. I got the clients. I got publishing.com as my client for email list management. And that's
Yeah.
where the majority of the audience was. I mean, it was a stark difference compared to their social medias. The social medias pretty much have nothing. It was all the email list. And so I get on a call with my client, Christian Mickelson. He says, hey, look, I need you to make me the #1 affiliate because this is personal for me. I love Alex Hormozi so much, and he's been an amazing inspiration for me and our company throughout our journey. And so without even thinking, I just said, consider it done. Like, I'm going to make you the #1 affiliate. In the back of my mind, I'm going, I have no idea the people that are going against me, probably some of the highest leveraged entrepreneurs and millionaires in the game. There's
Yeah.
even a billionaire competing for it. But, I do exactly what I preach to my students, is that you have to be 100% certain that you're going to do it. And so I said that. Then I got off the call and I just started telling everybody I knew, like, hey, I'm going to be the #1 affiliate for Alex Hormozi. Make it happen for my client. And then I reverse engineered it from there. So I'm like, okay, I can take what's working for the other people, even though we only had 2 weeks to do this. It was about 17 days. And a lot of people started way before me. And I just found out about it. So I'm like, okay, we need to start now. And so I was able to take what was working for the few people that were doing it in the beginning, that were like taking it to a larger scale. and then
Yeah.
deepen it by finding extra strategies from Facebook groups. So if you're a marketer, you're going to want to join Alan Soltanich's Nothing Held Back
Yes.
community, because
I'm inside of
very,
it.
very high level content, right? You like it?
Yeah. So good.
It's insane. It's like if you read those posts from Alan, it's like they're worthy of being books, pretty much. And so I
Yeah.
combed through there for email strategies, and I found the dual sequencing method because I did not want to leave this up to chance. I'm like, not just going to trust this. And so, which was informational content in the morning, because when people wake up, they're usually like reading books, you know, in this space, this is BizOp, and they want to learn stuff and apply it. And then at night, it was super motivational stuff. Like a lot of people get off work and watch YouTube, like Alex Hormozi motivational stuff. So I timed it up with that. I dangled carrots like crazy, like every single email, treating each one like they weren't going to read another. So I found ways to make the current carrots that he was handing out sound really spicy, and then leverage the current ways like curiosity, like, hey, we're going to give away something that's more than a gift card but less than a Tesla.
Yeah.
And you paint this picture of, like, I wrote an email that was about like a Great Gatsby party, like, you're invited, exclusive VIP, you just like click here, and it's only available to these people. And I price anchored Hormozi's time based off of what he charges to speak on stage, which is 100K. And so people saw the value in that. And then he has one main story that I just told different ways. His main one about his merchant shutting him down, and Layla looking at him saying, what should we do? Our friends quit their jobs for this. Like, we're out of money. He's like 27, living in his girlfriend's parents' house, for anybody that doesn't know the story.
Yeah.
And she says, Alex, like, I'd live under a bridge with you if it came to it. And yeah, that's just such a powerful story. And so the email that I got a shout out from Hormozi himself was based off of one of his most recent talks on YouTube, which was how I made more than the top CEOs of the world, IKEA, Motorola, etc., in my early 30s, and starting with just $1,000, something like that.
Yes.
And he absolutely loved it. He said, y'all are the best. And I got that in Slack and was so pumped and immediately screenshotted it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, yeah, I mean, like, one of my takeaways, like, by having this conversation even with you, is like, most people, I don't know, right now in this time, most people things like email is overrated. I would say some people think like, hey, it doesn't work, stuff like that. But I mean, like, in your case, it was all with emails, right? You've generated those amount of leads.
Look, like, yeah, it was all through email, and we won by an extra 30%.
Yeah.
Like, we got just barely shy of 10K, and the next person got 7,000. So that speaks testimonies for email. Email is never going to die. It's always the final frontier. You're never getting canceled. You can export the CSV and you own it, baby. You can encrypt it in a hard drive and throw it in a bank if you want.
Yes, correct. So, like, I'm curious, like, if you like mind sharing, on average, I would say, like, what was the list size was in the range between that actually helped you to even like get on the get on the leaderboard, compared to, for example, maybe like some people have equal amount of subscribers on YouTube, stuff like that, or having distribution, because there were some big names on the leaderboard. Pace Morby, if I'm not mistaken, like, he was competing, like all other like massive affiliate marketers, but their Dean Graziosi was also kind of like competing there, because he was sending like some sort of emails. The cases were some sort of like different, but like, what was the number of like email lists that was there that was actually helped you to get on the leaderboard?
So my good friend Matthew Klassen was actually helping me re-engage the list with his new CRM Inbox Alchemy. And that was really helpful because we had a lot of people that we needed to re-engage really quickly. And so he was able to help out in that aspect. The sending segment I had was 380,000. And that was at about a 20% open rate, because I'm like balancing like getting a 20% open rate and sending to as many people as possible. So I obviously can get a higher one, but that's not the job of a true email list manager. It's to juggle the data and make sure you're maximizing it. So, but these
Got
people,
it.
keep in mind, they didn't know who Hormozi was. They were extremely top of the funnel, most of them. So I had to do a lot of legwork in the emails. Like a lot of the people came from ads that were like, hey, you see the price of gas going up really high and you realize that's 4 hours of work. Like try this business model. And so then I'm doing the legwork and convincing them to do that. And so,
Got it. So they were
yeah.
completely cold, kind of like they who don't even aware of like Alex Hormozi.
Yeah, exactly. So
Sort
they
of.
weren't cold, but they were extremely top of the funnel. So they were unaware of a lot of business
Yeah.
practices and stuff like that and content.
Yeah, because like that email that you mentioned that was on the Slack was so general yet so hooked, right? Because like everybody knows like IKEA or like Motorola, like these type of companies, and they're kind of like, okay, like who's that guy who is making more than the CEO of these companies? Those emails were so strategized. Even that screenshot doesn't feel like it was random or like out of the blue. And yeah, like other people who might be on that leaderboard probably got like more number of email list members in their list, but you still got that sort of targeted number of people out there. So yeah, I mean there were a lot of strategy behind that.
There was, yeah. I was also really specific in the email. I said he turned $1,000 into 100 mil in 44 months. And I mean, I was sending tons of emails, man. Like it wasn't just that one, but I think he liked that one because that was based off the hook of his last presentation. So he
Yeah.
held that angle really close to his heart. And then he loved the copy because it was fire. And then just like, hey, thank you guys. Like, all the best.
Yeah, love it, love it. I mean, yeah, I think the biggest takeaway for the people who might be listening right now is don't sleep on emails at all, right? It's still at the end of the day is the only asset you can own, right? As you mentioned, like download your CSP file. That's the only asset you can own apart from all the other social media that can be like shut you down, uh, you know, Xanos, I would say that's the other thing. Like it can the it can shut you off like real quick. But yeah, I think that would be my biggest takeaway. But yeah, apart from that, if somebody is like, hey, Christian, I want to learn what you're doing, what you've done, and what you're planning to do in the future, where people can be the part of your world.
Okay, so you can check me out on Facebook and Instagram. It's / Christian the copywriter on both platforms. I'm posting content regularly. And yeah, so the best way to get started is you need some kind of either course, like you need the information from somewhere. Like, sure, you can
Yeah.
find a lot of it for free, but not the really good stuff. And then it has to be organized so that you don't get distracted or lose time. And then the key piece is you need mentorship. So you have a few options there. You can work for a mentor for free, which is really time consuming, really hard, but highly recommend working for free if you can. Or you can pay a mentor to get you there faster. But if you don't have someone looking over your copy, you're running on a hamster wheel and not knowing if you're improving. And I mean, like the messages I get in my DMs are heartbreaking. I have people saying like, "Hey, I've been doing what you do for 8 years and I'm still only stuck at $2,000 and I'm living in a first world country and I can barely feed
Yeah.
my,
Oh,
my
wow.
kids." And I think people forget that a lot of copywriters out there are struggling. And so it really doesn't take that much extra work though to become the top like 5%. It's just about who you surround yourself with. So you can
Correct.
buy your way to the top position just by being a go-getter, hardworking, willing to do whatever it takes, and getting around a mentor.
Love it, love it. So yeah, I will post up the link up in the description down below, also in the show notes, so you can follow Christian and be the part of his world. Well, again, man, thank you so much for being on the show today out there. Any last thing you want to say before we round the show up?
Yeah, if there's anyone out there listening to this and you're struggling to make ends meet and you're wondering if you're cut out for this entrepreneur thing, just like please don't give up. Like please, I used to calculate the decades it would take me to retire at my job at Costco, like hating what I did, like getting chicken grease in my or like rotted chemicals in my eye, and like was on a phone call with the doctor. He didn't know if I'd get my eyesight back, and so I've been in some dark places. And just don't ever freaking give up because you never
Yeah,
know. It just takes one person to completely transform your life forever. And then,
true.
like, I mean, the first 9 months that my life started getting amazing, I got tears of joy every morning. So just keep that vision in your head, push forward no matter what gets thrown at you.
Amazing message. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys got the value, and we'll definitely gonna see you guys in the next episode next week. Until then, peace out.